And now we will start with our second panel on future skills startups, skills in demand. I would like to call Dr. Anand on stage to start with the panel.
Assalamu alaikum. Misal al-Khair. I think we are in a very hot time because for learning, the best thing is unification of heart and mind. So our heart is here. At this point of time, naturally, mind should be outside. So we will try our level best to bring heart and mind together till the end of this session. Before starting, I just wanted to ask the organizer, our starting time is late, but we have to stick on ending time same, right? Or?
Yeah, maybe 10 minutes more because everybody's getting hungry and yeah.
So that's why, that's how we can bring heart and mind together. Okay, thank you. Before starting, before welcoming, at the outset, I thank the organizer for giving me an opportunity. And I remember, before inviting our key speaker, the panel discussant, I just wanted to tell you one small story which I learned during my kindergarten school time. The first part of the story goes like this. There was a vendor who sells the cap. So what he used to do, he used to sit below the tree and he used to sell the cap. Then one day what happened, after the lunch, he took a small nap and all monkeys came down and took all the caps and gone up to the tree. Then after some time, the vendor saw in his bag no caps. Then all the caps were worn by the monkeys. Then he used one strategy. The cap on his hand, he just thrown, and rest of the monkeys followed it. Then the monkeys who were taken the caps, they have also thrown down. Then he collected all the caps and he started his daily business. This is one part of the story. The strategy what he used, what is going to happen after some time. And his grandson also did the same mistake under the same tree. All the caps were taken by the monkeys. Then he remembered the story, incident told by his grandfather. He simply thrown the cap down. Then from the top of the tree, all the monkeys started laughing. No, this time you cannot deceive us. My grandfather told what your grandfather did for them. So this time we don't throw the cap back. So what is the story? What is the moral of this story? The moral of the story is the time is changing. The strategy what you have adopted yesterday may not be relevant today. So at this age of technology, you must be the fast learner. In earlier days, we used to say that one thing, the moment you learn, your system, you are fit for your job. But today the system is different. You have to learn something, then after that sometime, whatever you learned becomes outdated. Again, you have to unlearn whatever you have learned, you have to unlearn. Then for the success, you have to relearn. So learn, unlearn, and relearn should be the mantra of today's time. So in this particular session, I think we are going to highlight this, what we have to unlearn and what we have to relearn. So that is our focus. So today's startup culture is picking up across the world, and digital entrepreneurship is growing because it is borderless. Today, entrepreneurship is all about readiness to take risk, create structure, and then handle the business in a complex world. We call it VUCA world. So in this particular context, we are going to discuss about future skills, and we have got 4 different stars today from 4 different galaxies. The star 1 is from Policy Perspective, Galaxy, Mr. Nasser Al-Mahrooqi. He is the advisor for Ministry of Transport, Communication and Information Technology. Welcome you, sir. So our next star comes from the galaxy of industry expert, Mr. Ahmed Mohammed Lawati. I extend a warm welcome to you. And our next star comes from the business galaxy, Mr. Hussein Habib Lawati. Welcome to you, Mr. Hussein. And our last star, and the star comes from academic galaxy. She is Khaloud Yasir Ibrahim Sadrani. She is an English instructor, Saham Vocational College, Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation. Welcome to you all. We will do one thing. We will go with first round of the questions, and the main question they can give elaborate description, and if there is any counter question, I will ask counter question may be short. Okay? So coming to the question number, the first question goes to our person from policy making area. So I just wanted to ask you a quick question. Today, the world is changing. We are moving from the traditional business to a dynamic business that is called digital business. So in this particular scenario, in order to build up a desired ecosystem for developing startup culture among the millennium generation, I just wanted to ask you, what are the different dimensions of future skill sets which is required? What type of shift do you expect when it comes to competency dimensions?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think I would say thanks for giving this opportunity, and I'm really pleased to see the way how has evolved it. I think 2 years ago, a year ago, I attended this, and I could see, the evolution, the things that are happening, especially during the award ceremony, where one of them I picked up very well, SQU, where they could see where the future skills align with the labor market. And when we talk hearts and minds from my side is, what are the opportunities that we need to create to address the needs and the challenges of Oman, which is really unemployment? What do we want to do different? How do we want to think out of the box to address the needs? Currently, there are over 100,000, graduates who have gone out of the university, where millions of dollars has been invested by the government to train and bring them into the level where they are today. And if we do not find them opportunity where they can work and start creating value in the organization, then we are eroding the money which was invested in the past. And the future skills is an industry dynamic and how it evolves it. And I come from an oil and gas industry, have been a manager in PDO, where I took a lead of almost 80 people. I was leading it on a subsurface, and I focused a lot on the value creation through technology. But the industry is evolving. When the industry is evolving it, the new skill sets are evolving it. As what you said, the strategy of yesterday may not be the strategy of the future. We need to open our minds and our ears to understand this global, as a global citizen, what is evolving it, so we can align ourselves with the labor market, not thinking only of creation jobs in Oman. That's what I do in the ministry, part of the in-country value, how you stimulate the market, is to see beyond the regional and also the international. Today, if you look at it on the situation which is happening, is you can be recruited anywhere in the world. Microsoft, Halliburton, Weatherford, and what. They recruit people globally. They recruit you because of your profile, It's not because they know who is Nasser and what. That is where the mindsets and the culture has to change it. Currently, if you look at today, digital is one component or dimension of the future skill set. You have seen it evolution of the renewable energy, where things are happening from an environmental point of view, where we've been pushed aggressively to minimize the CO2 emission. And you could see electrical car now are coming up. The first Tesla in Oman, I bought it. So really, I'm into that innovation to see what is evolving. Now, this will not happen if we do not set up the market intelligence team looking in an innovative way on the way moving forward. Now, all of these, they've got different dimensions. You have got technology evolution, but also the technology evolution has to build that capability where we can sustain and being able to drive and moving forward. Now, one of the areas which I'm a believer, and I've seen a lot of presentation, Omanis are very smart. You come from the university, they're very intelligent, they can do great job, and I have seen it myself. I was leading almost 80 people. I'm a believer that, you cannot do everything. As a manager, in a transparent way, is to find an opportunity where I see your weakness being transformed into opportunities and build the strength to make it better. And in my experience over 30 years working in PDO, where I've been holding a managerial position, I never failed it. And why? The mindset, the culture of the manager changes is to start looking into a positivity element than negativity element. If we start bringing that positive element, then you find opportunity where you can allocate people into the right job where they can create value and they progress it, to address the need of the industry. Why we're here? Definitely the university, the academia, they need to work in a collaborative way with the industry to address the need of the industry. That's where we create the value. So I'm looking forward for this stimulated discussion where I will learn from you and I can embed in what I'm doing it as an advisor to the Minister of Transport, Communication, Information Technology, into the in-country value where we can stimulate the market and create job opportunities for Oman. That's from my side.
Thank you, Mr. Nasser. You have highlighted quite a few important dimensions, which is very much relevant in today's context. So a quick counter question. So you have highlighted one important aspect is growing unemployment. So now the quick question, so how we can, today's unemployment means what the people expect only the jobs. In this particular context, how can we convert them from expecting job to make a startups? So quickly, so what is your advice?
Guys, I'm taking more time of you. I think it's fine. So I think one of the areas where we need to see, and that's what is evolving it, and we could see now in a small scale, and there are really good pockets of excellence in Oman. I think the most important to see the excellence of the good pockets. Are there an opportunity of replicating, scaling it, so you can make it from an enterprise point of view? Now, when you look into the future skills, I'm a technical person. You start looking more from a technical point of view. But if you map it, you will see there is new jobs that are evolving it. There is new skill sets that evolve which links into the new jobs. And we tend to lose the areas of social skills. You can be a technical person, a data scientist. If you cannot articulate and explain exactly what are you really delivering it to address the need of the business, then most of the time it fails it. So that hybrid of the skill set, having the technical know-how and also critical thinking, communication skills. I'm talking about advanced communication skills. Really, you may be able to mention something, but if you cannot articulate it, then it doesn't fly it. If it doesn't fly it, it does not create value into the organization. And it's so much important how they integrated in ecosystem. Now, you could talk from an ecosystem from a standardization and process point of view, linking all of this together and how they fit together, but also an ecosystem could be from a technology point of view. How these are captured, they become knowledge retention, how they are utilized, how they are replicated, how their scalability, and how they go across, because we look more from an enterprise point of view. So that's more I'm seeing as an opportunity moving forward from a dimension, from a process point of view, and also from a technology evolution point of view.
Thank you, Mr. Nasser. I will come to you again after the completion of first round. So let's move on to Mr. Mahmood Lawati. You know that our feeling is that we as an higher education institutions, who are our customers? The customer is not our students, the customer is the one who is taking our students, it's nothing but industry. Now when we are preparing students for our industry, then our students must know at industry perspective, at the perspective of industry, what are the different division of skills required nowadays for a successful career?
Thank you for the question. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thanks for having me here today. Well, this is a deep question. I'll try to summarize it first by speaking about what is going globally. Then we can go into the details of Oman. Last week, I was with the former minister of Italy between 2015 and 2018. And he mentioned one thing. He said that in Italy, we are not predicting the future. And we cannot do that. But we are preparing ourselves. Take into consideration, Nokia was 25 years leading the industry. Then within a year, Steve Jobs has changed the map. So we cannot predict what is going to happen, but we are working into different set of skills which prepare us for this future. I did some research on Italy itself. GDP of Italy is going down, by the way. They were 1.2 million newborn, and now they are 400K only. This is last year. Now comparing that with the set of skills, last year in the US there was a study, around 69% there is a lack of skills where companies are looking for. And with the update of this year, it's 75%. People are going to metaverse, which we are not there in here. Here, what we are looking, when you take this global content into Omani context, we see two types of set skills because we are not far away from the world. The world is also changing, and we have to change with the world itself. I'll not add, Jawahar has added a lot of set of skills that we do require nowadays. But I'll highlight the two sections in oil and gas business as well as other business. My background is oil and gas, and I'm working in PDO. When we select people, of course, I'll not go into the details of the question of the interviews. It's quite confidential. But I will go into around it. We see two things. First, we see the hard skills, and we see the soft skills. And when it comes, and I'm speaking here about the technical people, when we interview the technical people, we take into consideration the technical part, and there are a lot of the set of skills which we embed into it. The problem solving, critical thinking, all of those, agility, adaptability. These are the soft skills, and by the way, and even the universities nowadays are going into that. I study currently, my doctorate studies currently is with New York University, and they were begging on to making kind of research related to soft skills. So the world is moving to that. Which kind of soft skills? I'll not highlight and repeat, but I'll focus into one or two of those soft skills we are looking for, like emotional intelligence and communication. Emotional intelligence and communication, and then we can discuss into the details of what do I mean by those two.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. You have made the point very clear. And you said very clearly that preparing future, focusing future, preparing, instead focus what we can do today, that's what. So why, you say that instead of focusing future, why we have to focus on presents? Just for the clarity for the audience.
There is a study speaking about within the coming 16 or 18 months, a lot of job will be disappearing. So this is a short term where people will need to focus, and the young generation, we are speaking about millennials, we are speaking about Gen Z, will need their capabilities. And we have here today, in Omani's context, that there is a lot of intelligence where we can build into today to address the issues which are upcoming related to artificial intelligence. You know, me as a cost and planning engineer, we are even predicting for the projects using artificial intelligence. So it's happening now. And I'll mention another study which might be when the time is coming. So this is affecting nowadays. And this bridges between the universities and what we do into the commercial side and business sector is going to be a challenge in case we do not cope up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed. Let's move on to Mr. Hussein from the business perspective. Yes, Mr. Hussein, you are already from artificial intelligence area, so you are the big threat for future employment. You means the area. So I just wondered, as Mr. Ahmed mentioned, there are many jobs going to be vanished in the future. So in this particular context, so how our young generations or startup people, how technology and automation affect the skills that are in demand, and how the workers, the startup people can adopt these changes as well as challenges.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. And just to start, you guys mentioned really great points. Artificial intelligence, I'm from the field of drones and artificial intelligence. I'll just give a brief. In our company, we understand that drone and data acquisition is 50% important. The other 50% completed by artificial intelligence. When we don't have the tools to analyze the rich data that we have, then we will just end up with having just data. And we cannot extract from it the real value. So part of that automation is enabling us to ease that process. We're talking about not GB of data, we talk about terabytes of data that we have. I can see that two things here. We're talking about just mainly if we focus on technical skills, I can see two things. That people are moving toward learning, for example, programming, becoming more in data scientists. And that's a really good thing. But maybe we don't understand the real demand in the market, and which later leads into a failure on having that knowledge, or no, I won't say failure, but slow in their career when they have that knowledge, will end up for them that just using certain programs to analyze just data without acknowledging the applications that we can get those data from, use that data, analyze it, monitor it, and then show that value. So I think automation, artificial intelligence, yes, not just changing the way we use our services, but it's also changing the way the ecosystem and the culture in the company. Those people with those technical skills, when they enter a company, they understand they have a certain role to do to finish the cycle of the work. But they will see that their company that they work in, they don't have automation, for example, or they don't use artificial intelligence within that company. So those individuals with those set of skills, they've been noticing that, and they've been changing. They clash with the management in those companies. And most of those companies, they use these high intelligent technical skills. Most of them are startups. Their goal is to generate money for them to grow, and they end up having that rich knowledge in their company. The HR face a lot of problem to retain those people with such high skills that are needed. And Oman market is driven by oil and gas industry, and thankfully oil and gas industry since long time ago they've been taking consideration to adapt to this digital transformation of using automation and so on. So they've been pushing to upskill employees with such skills and to empower those startups. Well, the only threat that's happening now, I mean, everyone agrees that we need to adapt to change. But the only threat is that how fast can we change? I'll take from my perspective, coming to business and sales and to finish deals. When we deal with clients, especially in services, and introducing those technologies to them to convince them to adopt those technologies into their daily services, we go through the cycle of idea, how to implement a digital transformation plan or strategy, how to deal with the change management and management of change, how we can convince them through those doors to adapt this to this technology. So there is no threat, but you need to be fast to adapt. If you are slow in not learning something new and not adapting to those new set of skills and technologies, then you will be behind. I myself, I don't understand blockchain, I don't understand cybersecurity, for example, but I need to educate myself about those concepts, because tomorrow at any meeting, at any place, someone will talk about this and will mention in the middle of their conversation cybersecurity. I don't want to be stuck there wondering, what is that? You understand what I mean? So the threat is when you are slow at learning and adapted to change, because things are changing every minute. I mean, back in time, phones come maybe once a year, a new phone. Now every 3 months, 6 months, a new phone coming in the market with new features. So you can imagine.
So very good point you have raised. The success is the one lies with the fast adapter. Like, it's a nature also. Like, for example, in the forest, if you see that a deer is chased by a tiger. So both are running. Deer is running just to escape from the bite of the tiger, and tiger is chasing just to have the bite of that thing. So now who will be the winner on that particular day, deer or tiger? Whosoever runs faster. So this is a good message, what you said. So early adopter will have take the opportunity and convert the threat into an opportunity and success. So the faster is always better. Thank you very much. So keep it. Yeah.
Sorry, I chip in. I think I just want to emphasize it. The technology evolution will create new dimension of jobs. It's not just you're eliminating it, you're eliminating the scope specific of that area where people need to go through upskilling and reskilling program to get the right skill set where they can really. And why are we facing these challenges? I think you know very well, because we come from the same company. The shareholders behind us, cost cutting is part of their core business. You are pushed so hard, you know, every day to reduce the cost. And when you start working on reducing the cost, then you need to think out of the box on efficiency. Things like automation, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality. These are the data-driven innovation which are evolving now, and we don't have a choice, we have to embark on it. Now, one of the areas where you have to, you know, to see it from a threat point of view, you need to look at from the weaknesses of the employees, and these weaknesses transform into opportunities, and you build the strength of it with existing resources to say you are not losing your job. There's a new dimension which is coming up, and we want to take you to that dimension, which is more interesting dimension, which has got more prosperity, which will allow you to grow, not within the organization, even grow globally. So these has to be communicated, articulated very well, because if you miss it, I faced this when I was in PDO. I left 2 months ago in PDO, and I faced a lot of those challenges. But I articulate and I sit down with people to explain what it is. If you cannot articulate, it becomes a threat, and it will really put down the organization, because people may not deliver it by being worried of their job security. The job are evolving, the dimensions are evolving it. It is us to connect those dimensions, make sure that we develop our people to the right area where they can address the need of the business. That's where I could contribute from my side.
Thank you very much. I think your points are, very good in the sense that the success lies with managing 3 C's: managing challenge, managing change, and managing the competency. Thank you. So let's move on to Ms. Khaloud. She is representing academic perspective to share. You know that I'm also an academician. So what we do is we train the people, we teach the people, we build the human capital for industry expectation. Like in the market, what we do here is we manufacture, we train the people, we train the students how to create a table with 4 legs. But in the market, they don't want the table with 4 legs, they want the table with the 3 legs. You understand my point? So we are developing the student skill how to create a table with 4 legs, whereas the industry requires table with 3 legs. Here it comes a gap, right? So now I wanted to ask you, so what should be the strategy to bring the gap down among the industry, universities, as well as school level?
Yeah, actually, this is a very good question. And there is actually a gap. And before I answer this question, I would like to mention something. I met a friend, and she is currently working as a manager of customer service in one of big companies in my area. She has MBA and long experience, and she told me that she got an offer to have a higher position. And when I asked her, what type of a question did you find? I know it's a little bit confidential maybe, but she said, I have got 100 questions, and they told her, go home, think about it, answer it, and then we will call you for an interview. And what shocked me that the 100 questions, none of them is about hard skills or the things that she learned in the university. So when I asked her what type of a question, she said, it's questions about situations and how I can handle them. It's about a problem, how can I solve it? It's about how strong my communication skill is. And it's all about 21st century skills. So it means actually there is like a massive change in job description. So if we think about Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, all of these are famous people. Actually, they are challenging us by saying that you don't really need your degree. And Elon Musk states that no college degree need to work in Tesla. So it's disappointed for many, I know. But actually, what are they looking for? They are looking for the skills. So even in Oman vacancies, you can find, for example, a vacancy for one of position and 200 their candidates. So they all have degrees. So what will make a difference is the skills. So we need to bridge the gap between education and employers. And this would be solved if there is a strong partnership between educational program and the employers. So by this one, the employers will be enabled to find, or to make it easier for them, creating workers rather than finding for the right workers they are looking for. So we need a strong partnership to break the gap. And actually, in vocational colleges, we have a program entitled Strengthening Soft Skills. And Dr. Ruqayya Al-Wahibi, she is there. She is coordinating this program, and I am part of it. And it's very useful because the target students will be graduates who completed all requirements, and it's very useful. But when I think about, there is a question in my mind, is that enough to give students workshops about soft skills? But actually, I think it's not enough. What we need is to put them within the curriculum. So I am a teacher. If I have students who, for example, not like to work with the groups, he like to work in isolation. So do you think by advice and telling them the advantages of working together, the student will not manage that, will not cope? So we need to put in our priority that the 4 key skills, which is collaboration, critical thinking, and communication skills, as a part of our system in delivering our plans. And actually last week, I had a curiosity to see how these implemented in schools, and I visited one of international schools in Soha, and actually I regret myself because no one taught me that in school. I felt like myself as a victim. Maybe that time it was not, there was no attention for these skills, not like today. So I saw in their lesson plans, there is a section called 21st Century Skills. And the teacher should think about activities, how to make students critical thinker, how to make them, for example, a communicator and group work. They should tick. So when I was thinking about myself, when I teach my students, what I saw that I used it, but maybe by a coincidence, but not because I mean it. So what we have to do is to put this in our mind when we do lesson plan, and it's about mindset. The idea is a mindset. We cannot be changed by talking. They need to practice it and continuously within the curriculum, and then it will be a habit, and then it will stick in their minds, and they will use it in every situation. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Khaloud. One quick counter question. Here, we used to hear that from the industry, that the graduates who have been prepared by universities or colleges, they are not fit for our company's work. This is the complaint from sometime from the industry. Now tell me, can we blame here only the higher education systems, or is there any responsibility on part of industry also to communicate this is the kind of skill we want? So how to bell the cat?
Yeah. As I mentioned, to solve this gap is we should have strong partnership between companies, because companies, if they want really us to prepare the students to be a very good worker, what they are looking for, they should tell us their needs. There should be a communication between the employers and even the dean of the college, even the one of high position in the ministry, and then we put it in our curriculum. So this one will be like we help them and they help us, to fill this gap.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Khaloud. So now, before, if I move on to the second round of questions, so I left the opportunity, you will be left with the opportunity of asking the question. So before moving on to the second round, so I don't know whether we will go to the second round at all or not. So let us listen from you. So I request you, at least you can pose at least one question each one of our today's speaker. Over to audience, please. Okay, there is one question. Yeah. I request balance the questions with all our speakers.
Hello, I am Mohammed Assam. Thanks for everyone here. I came to attend the event from Egypt, but I'm facing or asking about it's a big country and there is a huge distance, and I'm facing a problem with يعني getting to know the country because always transportation with car. So why there is no metro? It's a way of development, or something like يعني we monorail. This will help. I'm asking because I think you are a Ministry of Transportation. صح? يعني in a Ministry of Transportation. So maybe you can highlight it up. Thanks.
To be honest, is it working? To be honest, I need to be very careful. I don't represent the ministry here on the mandate and the business plan for the ministry. I come over here because I've been assigned to look on the in-country value, how we stimulate the market to support the job creations for Omanis, and also alignment on what is going on in the industry, and you know, the mapping into the future job dimensions and the skill set that we need for us to be able to respond into the future. And I think one area where I would like to emphasize it, and this has been happening, you mentioned about Nokia. I remember Nokia very well. There are many companies where they struggled and you could see they crash into the minimum. I think it is not about the muscles and the money you do have it for you to survive. The survival of today and moving forward is about the dynamic and how you adjust yourself to the need of the industry. And one of the area which I just want to emphasize, I'll come back into what you've asked, is collaborations between academia and industry is critical to address the need of the business. And there are many initiatives where this can be done. I have seen some initiatives in oil and gas, and I think they could be replicated and scaled it beyond oil and gas, is interim assignments where, you know, the fourth or third year students are allocated for a few months to work on the industry, so they understand. It's not only the business needs, they understand the business challenges. By understanding the business challenges, when they go back, they start looking at it to say, what I need to do different? What really we need to transform into the organization? And we need to be very careful. This is a transformation journey. We need to accelerate, but the transformation journey does not happen in a day. And changing the whole curriculum within a day, you cannot do it. And what it. Collaboration supports this moving forward. Do I have the question about the train and metro? To be honest, I don't know. I think this is the future. Maybe our population is less than in Egypt. In future, we may have more. I have seen already. This has been discussed. It is coming up. Inshallah, we will talk to you guys to learn more as a global citizen.
Thank you for your question. Move on to the second question. Yeah.
This will be for you, Ahmed.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for this really enriching discussion. My question goes to Mr. Nasser. As you don't represent the ministry, but you consult for the ministry, so you may have some access to to how things work over there. And also my question, the same question goes to Mr. Hussein, who's in the sector and working with advanced technologies. I mean, I come from the higher education. And it's really great to see Ms. Jawahar and to see Khaloud as well here in the panel. And our work, everyday work, when we go in the morning until we get out, is to prepare those students for the market. This is what we all think about. And after COVID-19, the whole transformation happened. I mean, a lot of big question marks. We were on our comfort zone, and then the whole thing changed. Now, from your perspective, how we could adapt to the new dynamic changes and the fast-paced adaptation of these technologies that the market is taking us to, what do we do more? We are collaborating, obviously. We have, where I come from, we have an industry advisory panel. We have all these things. But what could we do more to ensure that we don't, the next 5 years, whoever joins us today, and gets out the next 5 years is actually coping up with the requirements of the industry. maybe we start with you, Mr. Nasser.
I'm told the time out, so I don't know whether. I think this is a fantastic question. There are few things where you need to look at. You want to be in a train or you want to be in the leading train? Are you interested to be in the lagging edge or the leading edge? And if you're in the lagging edge, the environment will force you to do things different. You know, pandemic has forced us to do things different. I never thought I would work offline. I've been in the industry for many years. I always see myself in it. I've been transformed. It has worked it. And I see the role of the ministry, where we are working on, is to develop the direction on the future where we're going at, to create a framework, which framework will stimulate and allow these things to happen. If you don't have that framework today, we'll be talking about it. And also the other areas is to have smart goals. What am I doing today? It's not that you're going to transform within a day. Have I achieved something in a year? But you do it in a prototype way where you start thinking of scaling it fast. Because if you cannot scale it fast, the industry is moving it. You realize at the time when you scale it fast, things have already evolved in a different way. And the role of the ministry is to provide that direction. And I know already things are happening. And this will not happen without working in collaborations with academia, without working with the industry. I'm already talking to some of the university on addressing this. Yeah.
I would like to add something very fast. I don't want to be scary, but as per a study from Oxford University, 47% of the jobs in the coming decades will disappear. This does not mean that, as Nasser has spoken, that there are some new jobs coming on the horizon. As I was with Lord Hastings, one of the UK, he was speaking about Nigeria and how Nigeria is getting bigger than the whole Europe. With AI and with all of those interventions, how they are utilizing, moving from the Middle East and going to Nigeria to use those manpowers into two main areas. Because customer service, they are realizing customer service is going to disappear. Manufacturing, slowing down. So they are moving people into coding, analysis, and critical thinking, where they will be managing the AI for a further enhancement. Thanks. You wanted to answer?
Nothing to add, to be honest, but maybe it's just one thing to touch here, that some of the skills that we're noticing in the market, our students or just recent graduates develop them by themselves while they're taking their studies. And once they enter new companies, companies try to train them or to upskill them. And that affects the cycle of growing in the market. And of course, maybe more collaboration, as my colleagues mentioned, between the government and educational institutions will speed up this process, of course.
So, I'm also getting early warnings from the organizers. No problem. So what I will do now is, if there is any more questions, I can give only one question. Otherwise, we will go for the final round of conclusion. Okay? Fine. So it's good. So now we will move on to the conclusion. So what I will do here is I will give a quick 30 seconds time for each speakers. Can you please conclude with respect to today's topic, that is future skill startups, skills in demand. So your final conclusion or thought on the theme. Over to Mr. Nasser.
So my final conclusion is, we have got skill set, we have got people, we have got the workforce. We need to capitalize the workforce to create value into the organization. It is in a collaboration, between industry, academia, the ministry, in an ecosystem to address the needs of the industry. And I've already moved out of PDO, so I can speak differently. And I will really push on you. I think the industries need to play a bigger role to support, not only support by interim, also financing some of the activities where really addressing the needs of the business. So if we're looking specific on a challenge of the business, then this industry needs to finance it, to support the academia, where they can work specifically on those industries, and these are embedded into the organization to address the needs of the industry. But also, I'm seeing beyond, is the solution which you're developing, whether PDO or Oxy and oil and gas industry, the opportunity even to sell it and scale it outside Oman. And if you do that, then you are bringing the money into Oman, which is part of the in-country value. And I think that finished.
Thank you, Mr. Nasser. Over to Mr. Ahmed.
Within 30 seconds, I'll highlight two things. When we speak about communication, we speak about personal and interpersonal. So personal communication, we should not forget our self-insight to communicate with. So first, we should know our strengths, our weaknesses, our areas where we can build our future in. So this is the first part, which is very important, which will shape the future. The second thing, which I ask many companies as well as universities, what is your key driver in accepting people? And they said collectively, a growth mindset. A growth mindset means always we think when we have reached there, we are still not there. So we have to continue the mindset of growing and growing and growing.
Yes, I'll just mention that maybe it's just a tip that most of us maybe work in offices. And just today, when you go back to office or tomorrow, question yourself what kind of tools that you've been using in your function that helps you to automate. If you cannot think of something, think of the most task that you do on a daily basis or very common, and it takes much time of your day, and search about how you can automate it. And I think this is a good tip here to mention because I've been doing this in the last 2 years and it helped me a lot.
Yeah, just to sum up, the labor market chain, I can describe it as is broken. So we have workers who don't know the skills they really need, educators who don't know which skills to educate for, and workers, employers who don't know what their workers or what skills they have. So to fix this chain, we need to collaborate, and we are teachers in vocational colleges. We are trying our best to prepare our students for labor market, but this would not be happen unless we cooperate with the companies and know their needs, and then we can do it successfully. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Khaloud. I think today we had a really wonderful discussion. We have got perspective from policy making angle, industry angle, business angle, and academic angle. I hope today's our discussion is useful for meeting the future challenges. Before disconnection of heart and mind, I will wind up the session by saying a few lines. Thing is, today when we look at the success of various startup business, we call it FANG group, F-A-A-N-G. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google. These all are once upon a time just the startups. Now you look at these companies, where are they now? So here there is a catching point. Starting your own business could be more profitable than taking up a career in industry. In that particular context, I heartily congratulate and appreciate the effort of the organizers for having selecting a very apt topic which could add value to the economy and which would also add value to which will also give advice to those who are just looking for a job. So coming to the context of total value of unicorns globally, which is growing like anything, at present it is USD 3.7 billion is the business, unicorn business. Especially fintech, biotech, AI and robotics and metaverse are in the top lines. I think here there is an opportunity for startups. I think Oman should take this leverage for taking further. Recently I have read a news item that Oman is a best country for quality life, one of the top best country for quality of life. I hope with all your, yes, quality people. That's quality of life comes with quality of people. So my message is, I wish that Oman should be figured in top startups, at least in GCC in the years to come, as an impact of today's agenda. Thank you. Then, yes, once the philosopher used to say that, when I have an apple and you have an apple, when we both exchange each other, end of the day, each one will be having one apple, right? Today, there are 4 people are here. They have exchanged 4 different ideas. End of the day, we are not having one apple. We are having 4 different views and 4 different ideas. I think our today's discussion is highly fruitful and insightful. And as I told you, there was a panel discussion like this, and there was a panel chairman like me who will never end the talk. Then one person just stood up and holding the paper white, and he started searching someone. Then immediately that speaker said, don't worry, don't worry. He thought that he will hit him. Don't worry, I will shut my mouth. The meeting will be over. Then he said, no, you can speak. I am searching the one who brought you over here. In the interest of Mr. Sadiq, I will wind up today's discussion. Thank you all for your patient discussion, patience hearing, and I hope our heart and mind still unified. Over to the organizers. Thank you very much.